Hello. So this is going to be a little bit of a different video. Uh, just kind of explaining some stuff, explaining my opinions, explaining what the future for my interactions with Skyrim is going to be, and so on and so forth. Um,
Approach, my child, and choose
1.2
where your
or
new
Ftweaks
life shall begin.
1.24 just came out, and I was actually going to put this out before
Which
then,
inn are
but
you
that's
approaching
okay.
of?
It's still it's actually probably even more relevant now.
Even the lowest among us has their own
And I'm just gonna have
stories.
some kind of like crappy gameplay in the background that I'm probably gonna die a lot just to um, have something to look at while I talk. But it's probably also gonna be distracting. I tried to record this video a few times, and the one time that it was actually like how I wanted it to be, I found out that I ran out of hard drive space, so it didn't record. So here we are for like the fourth time. So, um, well, to begin the explanation, let's go back to the beginning. I find that's always the best place to start. So I started playing Requiem, much like a lot of people, 1.9.4.1, which was at the time considered the best, most stable, and most quote unquote balanced, I guess you could say, um, version of the game at the time. Okay. Did I take a shield? I don't remember. Should take a shield. That'd be good. Um, so what was I saying? Okay, so I started playing uh, 1.9.4.1 with a lot of people and quickly added Behind the Curtain and Minor Arcana, which was kind of like that was like the golden triad of that was like the golden triad of Requiem at the time. And for the most part, it was a pretty good gaming experience. Um, what did I like about it? Well, the 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 common theme and the common theme of that mod and the common theme of this video is going to be consistency. It brought difficulty, which was definitely needed, and it brought difficulty in a pretty fair way, all things considered. But it also brought consistency. You knew what areas were going to have relatively what levels of enemies, and you knew what quests would give what rewards, so on and so forth. Sorry, your uncle's a traitor, needs to be executed. Um, anyways, uh, so yeah, so then I was playing that, and it was great, and it was very consistent, and that's one of the things I really liked about it. And then I took some time off, and then I came back, and when I came back, Ftweaks is out. What was great about Ftweaks? Well, it brought a lot more. Yeah, it brought even more consistency because now you could directly control how you level. It hand placed items throughout the world that you could guarantee that you could get if you could survive getting through the dungeon to do so. Well, actually, a lot of them were moved to dungeons by Ftweaks, which I'm getting to. When I first started playing Ftweaks, Ftweaks was out, but it was very much in its infancy. It was mostly just I like foreign and a few other people's preferred changes to make it a little bit fairer and a little bit more challenging, but without taking away the core ideals, the core philosophy, which is consistency. And I don't know if this is now something people would consider a debatable topic. I don't really think that it is. I think if you look through the patch history, you look through the patch notes, I think it's pretty clear the driving philosophy for the game for a long time, and the mods in general, was consistency. So yeah, which is something that I really liked about it. So let me give a little background on myself and why that matters. Okay, so I'm not. I call it shiny new toy syndrome. It's something that I don't have. I'm very much an if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of person. It comes from working in construction. It comes from being the kind of person that I am. It also comes from teaching yourself a valuable life skill that everyone should have. And I'm not saying I'm the best at this, but it's something everyone should learn, which is delayed gratification. It's good for your brain. The psychology on this is pretty clear. I'm not going to go on a psychology rant right now, but it's pretty clear. It's pretty not debatable that delayed gratification is good for your brain and builds good people and good societies. Anyways, um, so yeah, so I'm not a shiny new toy syndrome person. So if you need to change something, that change, and you want me to use that change, it's not you want to change something, I mean knock yourself out. It's if you want me to use your change, you have to justify that change to me. Since apparently me not changing something is extremely controversial, apparently. Like me not willing to update my stuff, or especially giving opinions on why I'm not going to update stuff, is apparently incredibly controversial, which is fine. I mean, I welcome controversy, don't get me wrong, but it was more surprising than anything else. I don't really care if people like me or if they don't, or, you can post comments on this video telling me so. It doesn't matter to me. But it was surprising more than anything else. And it's been made clear recently, almost explicitly, or I would say explicitly, that the mod is changing in the direction of turning the game towards I guess they want it to become a roguelike, which I think is definitely a downgrade for Skyrim, because Skyrim is just better than most roguelikes. It has a lot of traditional RPG elements um, that are just better. Like it holds a lot of long-standing RPG elements that I think some authors don't understand. I guess I don't know, or would debate it. But I mean, if you want proof, the proof is literally right here. There you go. Like this should jump off the page at people what this game was loosely designed to mimic. Okay. It's also in the manual too, by the way. But anyways, it was made explicit that if that's not the way that I want to play the game, or that certain people, because it wasn't just me. People like to say that it's just me, but it's clearly not just me. But if we don't want to play the game that way, then well, we basically might as well play something else. And it's like, okay, well, that's fine. I will. So I'm making my own tweak now. A tweak of a tweak of a tweak of a tweak. I know that's the joke, but I'm going to be working on Jtweaks now to revert some of the stuff that I don't like from 1.23. Because I only updated to 1.23 in the first place because I liked the idea of having the Daedric blessings, and I was honestly too lazy to try to pull them out of 1.23 and put them in my current version. But the chances of me updating to 1.24 are pretty low, for a lot of reasons. One, there's really nothing in it that is exciting to me. Like, there's nothing that jumps off the page that's like, oh my god, I have to have this. Once again, changes to me have to be justified, and I don't see any reason for them. For one, whoops, that was, yeah, see, I'm trying to talk and play at the same time. It's not gonna, and I didn't even take my buffs, so I'm gonna be playing like shit. Well, more like shit than usual. Hey, my auto looter's working. Haha, distracted me, but it's good to know. So apparently I just needed to make a new character. Um, so yeah, so if that's, if that's the direction that it needs to go, then that's the direction that it needs to go. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Where I need to make my own stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. You're going to start seeing videos that also include Jtweaks. Now, Jtweaks is going to start small, changing some of the things that I don't like and that I do actually know how to change. So the changes that I've made, so far, I changed the fortify armor piercing to oh, I wasn't expecting both. I changed the armor piercing enchants back to fortify alchemy. I think fortify alchemy was fine how it is, and fortify armor piercing is definitely not fine how it is. It's a very, very powerful mechanic that is definitely something that the player I don't think needs more of. So, and I liked having fortify alchemy. I mean, it's a personal thing. I mean, it is a mod for me. I'll post it if people are like interested in these changes, but basically it's just going to be reverting things that I disagree with the now guiding philosophy, because people will say that maybe it was always the guiding philosophy, and it wasn't. Once again, you can look through the patch history and see that everything was about consistency for a long, long time. So yeah, so I'm going to change those back. I don't think they're really necessary to be in the game right now. So I'm going to change those back. Now, the number one change that I made, and people who know me know this is coming, is the blocking change. Foreign made it, and we all know why. We can say this isn't why, but we all know why. Foreign made it to where enemies block a vast majority of damage, to the point of where it's basically completely worthless to bash blocks. And it basically made it to where there's one, maybe two ways to fight bandits, which is bait power attacks or do some of that run past them and hit them in the back shenanigans that's honestly kind of cheesy to me. It's fun to watch, but those being the only viable ways to kill bandits is kind of, let's just say, silly to me, or shielded enemies in general. Being able to bash enemy shields and, basically chip them to death doesn't really take anything away from that playstyle that people like so much anyways. Why they like that playstyle so much is, I don't know, but that's fine. People like what they like. But me changing blocking back doesn't really take that away at all. The only counter argument I've seen, which is just not a good argument, is that it makes it more optimal to hit people's shields. I don't know. To me, that's a non-starter, right? I'm not an optimal bro. First of all, I'm not an optimal bro. I'm once again talking about delayed gratification and patience and those kinds of things. I don't need to cheese to death. I don't need to metagame to death. I don't need to, I look at a lot of changes that are to stop the player from cheesing certain things, and I'm like, I mean, that's fine, but you could also just not. You could just not. That's it. Practice restraint. Just don't do things. If you think they're broken, if you think they're busted, don't do things. That's it. It's really is that simple. But anyway, so that's the blocking change. Trying to remember what else did I change. Oh, I changed Azadal's gear to once again regenerate magicka if you have Atronach. I played through almost an entire playthrough with it, pre-addition of Funerary Rite, and I thought it was fine. If anything, it makes Atronach with a hybrid character pretty fun to play, because you get a tiny bit of regen, so you get maybe one or two, maybe one extra spell per fight, and you maybe get what was I gonna say? Wow, I can't believe that reached me. Oh, it's steel. That's right. I am trying to talk and play again. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I played through an entire playthrough with it. I didn't really think there was anything wrong with it. That's always something that I'm willing to change back, actually, if it turns out to be a problem. It makes you regenerate a little bit of magicka between fights as well, but you can do the same thing with Funerary Rite, which I think is just a much more awkward interaction. disintegrating corpses, I think, is just a weird. It's kind of a weird spell. I feel like it doesn't even really fit into like the idea of Skyrim, but that's fine. Maybe there is some lore reason, I don't know. But oops, completely missed. It's almost like he was a saber cat. So yeah, that change is definitely subject to change. And it's been brought from 2 magicka per second down to 1 magicka per second anyways. So it's a pretty weak regen. You're talking about 1 magicka per second over 600 seconds. Now, of course, the obvious thing that people are going to point out is, well, you could just wait spam. I mean, yes, you can. But if you're the kind of person where you feel like you need to wait spam, this probably isn't the mod for you. And I don't mean this in an offensive way, it's just, you know who you are. That was weird. So I like playing like this more. This is kind of an example of what I was talking about, where I can actually like step in, hit shield, come out, step in, hit shield, come out, and I do risk getting hit coming in like this. You know, you could always get power attack. So then, and then if I'm already this close, then I have to block, and then I take guaranteed damage. It also makes it faster dealing with enemies that just turtle like that. But once again, it's a personal thing. But it's something that really didn't need to be changed. So, but yeah, so there's those changes that I've discussed. I'm working on a few more. Some of them are going to be naming conventions. Oh, I forgot, and I'm going to test this soon because I can't figure out if I did it right. I took out, there's a boss that's in Ustengrav when you go back for the free soul called the Tongue that was added. I believe I successfully pulled him out of the game without breaking the quest. We're going to see. I haven't tested it yet. But that's also kind of one of the more egregious examples of breaking consistency. I mean, consistency as in he'll always be there, but the argument for it was basically that, like, oh, well, you know, it's optimal to get the free soul on every character. It's like, well, I mean, it was clearly either an Easter egg or a broken quest. I lean more towards broken quest. Like, I think the Graveyards were always going to send you back there. They just didn't finish that quest, or they decided to cut out the last part, but they left in the soul anyways. So to me, that's kind of like a kind of an obvious kind of thing that was always the intention. And I think it's fine because it's like, it's like, would I rather just fight a dragon than for a soul? And the answer is usually yes. I mean, dragons I can fight out in the open, and it's a lot easier, and it's like, what's the point? So, I don't know. I think Ustengrav was fine. I think giving the player 1 soul is fine. I don't really think that needs to change. So, but yeah, there's also going to be probably some naming convention changes. These are definitely going back to Potions of Insight. I mean, if you just look at RPG history, that's how things have always been named in D&D and several other games. Grim Dawn comes to mind. Diablo, I believe. A few others. So it's definitely going to be Potions of Insight and so on and so forth. Just personal things like that. I had a few more changes, but I can't really think of them off the top of my head. Funerary Rite, I'm tempted to just remove, but I don't know if I'm going to, because I don't know if I care enough. If the player wants to use it, they're welcome to do so. I think it's kind of a silly spell, but it's not enough for me to like take it out. I'm not. You know, I'm not one of those where it's like, okay, well, I got to take it out completely now. But yeah. So that was kind of the summary of. Like I said, I wanted to make a video because the responses on Discord have been interesting. Let's put it that way. Let's just call it interesting. So So yeah, so that's where we're at. Probably not going to update. Giga Chad never updating kind of thing. But in all seriousness, yeah, that's gonna be Jtweaks, and my reason for doing so. I would have rather not, but once it was made, and the bottled water and jug of milk thing, I'm definitely changing. It doesn't really make sense to me that every single bandit has a jug of milk and a bottled water on them when it's kind of like, I don't know. First of all, it doesn't really make sense at all, and second of all, one of the nice things about making food is there is always the bottleneck of you have to go and buy a jug of milk or buy bottled water if you're making bestial stew or any of the other foods respectively. Unless you make like Horker loaf and stuff like that where you can use salt, but then you have to find salt, so on and so forth. I guess the reason was so you could regenerate stamina between fights, but I don't know. It's kind of a weak justification. But it's also not a big deal. It's just something that I don't like, so it's something that I'm gonna change. So, so yeah, I'll probably kill this guy and then end the video. But I'm trying to think of anything else. I had a few things on. I'm kind of doing this video off the cuff, as I'm sure you guys can tell. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm gonna do to Jtweaks that kind of like jumps off the page at me as something that I need to change right now. Oh, I'm tempted, and we'll see. I'm tempted to remove the smithing traits completely. That's just a lot of work because I looked at it. It's a lot of entries that he put in. And I've been having trouble figuring out how to simply remove things, like have my mod remove things that something else so that another mod puts in. Oh wow, he just one-shots with a dagger. Or orc balance displayed in a nutshell right there. No, nothing wrong with orcs. They should stay as is, you know. But we all know why orcs stay strong. But what was I saying? Um, oh, he's a poison. All right, Redguard. So yeah, I was thinking of changing smithing weapon traits too. The enemies don't have access to them, and I think smithing was strong enough without traits. And it's kind of like, let's be realistic here. Why wouldn't you just always take the armor penetration ones? I mean, you could take cushioned, I guess, if you're playing a stealth character, but otherwise, it's like, why wouldn't you just always take armor penetration? There's no compelling reason not to. So, it's kind of the same idea. So yeah, I might make more videos like this as I come up with more ideas. Like I said, it's going to be a mod just for me. I was just explaining why you guys are going to see me playing it and what decisions I came to. And it also gave me a chance to like explain myself in kind of a relaxed environment. So yeah, so that's going to be that's probably going to be it for this one. If you guys have any questions or comments, you're welcome to post them. But yeah, I'll see you guys around.